Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vinny Makes the Hall of Fame Case for ... I'm Kirk Buckner. I run NotInHallOfFame.com. And with me, as always, is Vinny Lospinuso, who is taking a trip back to the Diamond here for this one. Another request, is it?
Yeah, this one comes from Tubbs Baseball Cards, and
Okay.
he's a huge fan of Tim Hudson,
Okay.
and because of the success, he is someone that wants to continue pushing his case. And he said, "Hey, Vin, you want to do a case on Tim Hudson?" I said, "Sure, why not?" And well, here I am making a case on the one and only Tim Hudson.
All right. This one, I might be in a bit of a disagreement with the two of you. He wouldn't have gotten my vote. So why am I wrong?
You're wrong because, well, let's start with his entire career.
Okay.
He was born in Georgia, but then in terms of his high school years, he grew up in Phoenix City, Alabama, where he led his team to 1983 AISA state championship. And then he was drafted by the Oakland A's in 1999 and in 1994, and then 1997 he would officially sign. And he started with them in 1999, where he's a part of that trio with Mark Moeller and Barry Zito, that big three that was in the Moneyball era.
Yeah, I remember that very well. He did make it to the ballot. He lasted only 2 years, so 2021, 5.2%, 2022, so he got kicked off with 3%. It is hard to stay on the ballot. I mean, a lot of voters are using their 10 votes, and a lot of people don't seem to vote much at all, as we know. When we look at his longevity, he certainly got that. I don't know that where I sort of struggle with Hudson, as good as he was, I never thought at any time that he was the best player in baseball. Now, granted, you don't have to be to sort of like it to make it to the Hall of Fame, but when I look at Hudson, even when I remember that trio that he was with Mulder and Zito, Zito got more of the press the way I remember it. Maybe I'm misremembering it, and that could be.
He did lead the league in the AL in wins, and he was also the Cy Young winner. But at the same time, when it comes to Cy Young awards, I mean, it doesn't mean that Rick Porcello is better than Tim Hudson. That's the last time you'll hear me mention Porcello's name in terms of a Hall of Fame discussion.
I think that might be the first time I've heard his name in I don't know how long.
Well, yeah.
It's been a while. With Hudson, though, I want to go back to I guess the Cy Young here too. Did finish in the top 10 4 times, which is impressive. Not a lot of people can do that. Second in 2000, fourth in 2003, 2010, where I think when sometimes people are looking at the overall stats, it was more of a different game too. Like his ERA is nothing really to write home about, but in that era, he still finished in the top 10 quite a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look
Am I
at
talking
also the
myself
number
into
of
this? I don't know.
You also had 222 wins as a starting pitcher. You're probably not going to get that again for a long, long, long time, really, for the most part. Like, you're not going to have many that are going to get to that level.
No. Hell, DeGrom can't even get to 100.
No, and if he can't get even to 100, like, isn't Justin Verlander going to be out for a bit too? Like, I know he has over 200 wins, 257. So, like, how many does Scherzer have? Does he have over 200? Just listen this up because he's 214. So Hudson has more wins than Max Scherzer, and Scherzer's going to be out for a little bit for the Rangers. I'm not saying he was better than Scherzer. No, Scherzer is definitely a better player, but he's also someone. You look at Tim Hudson. He's won a game against every single team in the majors, and almost the 15th to ever do that. Also, He struck out at least 2,000, and he has a winning percentage above 600. So three. So you have a third of which are not in the Hall of Fame. He is one of those third that are not in. One of those third, of course, being Roger Clemens, who's not in for other reasons. But I do think Tim Hudson, he has the wins. He has the championship, which he won with the Giants. Now, granted, that year also was the first year of his career that he had a losing record. So he had a winning record as a pitcher every year up to that point.
Yeah, his when I look back on Hudson's career, just like the All Stars that he sort of like did too, because he's with three teams, so he did it with each one of them: Oakland, Atlanta, and San Francisco. San Francisco, I think, was kind of interesting too, because he was doing that late in his career when he was just not the same guy. And for him to sort of
Mm-hmm.
like have that sort of like late renaissance, I always like it when a hurler can do that.
Yeah.
Uh, Saying that though, I don't know. I like there's just so many others that feel like Tim Hudson to me. So what else am I missing?
Well, you're also missing the fact that, well, I do think he deserved a bit better in terms of
Like on the
just
ballot?
overall voting. Oh yeah, I don't think he should have lasted only 2 years, especially with the number of wins that he had. I always thought it was kind of dumb that if you don't make 5% one year, you're thrown off the ballot, never to be heard from again for the most part. I do think he deserved better. I'm also saying it because he is someone that has the ring. He has bounced back after an injury. He tore his UCL and got Tommy John surgery and was an all-star that year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah, I think, you know, he is probably one of the best, not in, I'd say, in terms of a pitcher. He's also in the top 0.94% in terms of all players for his BWAR, which is actually higher than a David Ortiz also.
Okay, where is he in Jaws?
He's lower in Jaws. I'm looking at his entire Jaws.
Okay.
I have the whole list right here in case
Mm-hmm.
anyone's curious.
Yeah, like where does he stack up? Actually, while you're doing that, I'm gonna look up a couple other things here too. Because I'm all
His Jaws,
hmm?
I'm looking at his Jaws right now, just loading.
Yeah, no worries.
Tim Hudson is above Mordecai Brown. He's above Joe McGinty. He's above Al Spalding. He's above Milky Welch. He's above Whitey Ford. But there's obviously guys above him. Um, just like Cole Hamels was kind of similar to him, and Johan Santana, who also has a lot of buzz. In terms of wins above replacement,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, he's higher than that of Whitey Ford. He is a bit lower than Al Spalding.
Okay.
He also has more than Burleigh Grimes. And I understand Koufax is better, but he also is ranked higher than Koufax.
Mm-hmm.
He's higher than Chris Sale, who is his contemporary, I guess one could say, as like a somewhat similar. He's sort of like the opposite, like really dominant in his career, but then injuries kind of hurt it.
I'm looking at his
So I'd say it
similarity scores here
tracks a bit
too.
favorably.
Yeah, I'm looking at his similarity scores, and he's kind of like where I would think he would be with a lot of really good pitchers. Only two of them are in the Hall of Fame, the being Catfish Hunter and Dazzy Vance. But the names that he's associated with, though, I kind of have him in that ballpark: Kevin Brown, Bob Welch, Oral
Yeah,
Hershiser,
like he's
Patrick
similar to like
Dwight Gooden,
mhm.
uh, John
Getting similar.
Lester, Zach Greinke. Of course, Greinke's not eligible yet, but hey, did he
Yeah.
retire at this point or no?
I don't know, no one picked him up. He
Okay,
is not retired officially yet.
okay, might as well.
But yeah, Hudson is someone that I think has a better case than some people are let on.
Okay,
And like I said, just because you're not on that does not mean just because you're on the ballot does not necessarily mean you were not deserving. It also means that there's probably just a bunch of people that just didn't look at your case as good as some others.
that could be true. That could be true also.
Yes, I do think in terms of an overall case, would I have him as higher than like a Tiant, for instance, or Tommy John? No, I would not. I
Okay,
think in terms of those guys, I would have ahead. That being said, I do think Hudson his best shot at the moment in terms of a Hall of Fame is Georgia. Even though he grew up later in his younger years in Alabama and he's in that state's Hall of Fame, he is in the Braves Hall of Fame for his 9 years with the organization, plus being born and growing his younger years in that state. So, and actually, Tubbs has done a whole list telling people to go vote for Hudson in the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, I
And
see. Okay.
I would suggest anyone that has that or has that link, please go do so now because they tend to look at guys that get more votes overall. And I think if Hudson gets that, he might just make that Hall of Fame.
There you go. All right. Always learning. With that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make it a good one and check out all the other shows that Vinny does. It's really fun. Take care, everyone.